Next on Northwest News Today, presidential pit stop. When and why the commander-in-chief plans to visit Northwest City. Then, Northwest wildfires force families to flee from their homes as crews battle to keep flames at bay. And you don't just burn calories at this gym, you can also catch up on your sleep. Sign me up for that one. We'll tell you about the new napping fitness craze. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday, August 31st. I'm Dana Cowley, and your news starts now.
This is NWCN, Northwest News and weather 24 hours a day. Now, Northwest News Today.
The Northwest gears up for another stop from President Obama. The White House announced today the president will stop in Seattle on Sunday, September 25th. He's expected to push his new jobs plan, among other things. As Sue Turner reports, he's already called on Congress to pass a transportation bill when he gets back to work next week.
Good morning, everybody.
Construction workers.
We're learning new details on a move by the Justice Department to block a merger between AT&T and Bellevue-based T-Mobile. The antitrust lawsuit filed today could stop the $39 billion deal. AT&T is the #2 wireless carrier nationwide, and T-Mobile is #4. According to the feds, this lawsuit comes down to customers and the competition.
We feel the combination of AT&T and T-Mobile.
The FCC is reviewing this merger as well, and AT&T says it will fight the lawsuit and ask for an expedited court hearing so the benefits of this merger can be fully reviewed. Firefighters are investigating a massive fire that damaged a decades-old warehouse near Spokane. The fire broke out early this morning in the West Plains. It was so intense it could be seen from I-90. The flames forced the evacuation of a nearby home and also pushed sparks across a small brush fire. It took about 50 firefighters to contain that blaze.
Just the sheer size of it and the head start that it had. But you know, we can't change those things. We can just overcome them.
That warehouse used to contain a business that made custom staircases. Now to the wildfires burning around the Northwest. Tens of thousands of acres have already burned this fire season in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. There are 4 major fires we're tracking right now. The 6,000-acre Belle Plaine fire near Pomeroy, Washington is almost contained. But the 1,800-acre fire near Omak still has 40 homes under evacuation notice. The Oregon Central and the 76,000-acre High Cascades Complex fire, that's the one near Warm Springs, it sent hundreds of homeowners fleeing. People in nearby towns are being told to close their windows because of all the smoke. And another big battle is the Dollar Fire that's burning on Oregon's Mount Hood. As News Channel 8's Colette Wieland reports, firefighters are hoping to gain some ground there today.
More than 1,600 acres have burned here so far, and it is...
A cloud of uncertainty hangs over the start of the school year in Tacoma, Washington. Classes are supposed to begin tomorrow, but teachers are still negotiating with the district. Their contract expires today. Thousands of teachers are scheduled to meet today to review their options. They could vote to go on strike, they could work without a contract, or approve a new one. Some of the key sticking points include salary and class size. Thousands of Western Washington students headed back to school today. Some of the larger districts include Mercer Island, North Shore, Renton, and Sedro-Woolley. Seattle Public Schools don't start until a week from today. That's on September 7th. Portland Public Schools start Tuesday, September 6th, and so do most of Spokane's public schools. The Boise schools got a head start. Classes began there last week on August 24th. Well, if you see those flashing lights or a yellow school zone sign, just slow down and get off the phone. Police in Vancouver, Washington are making sure the start of the school year is a safe one for the students. Throughout the Evergreen School District, officers are cracking down on speeders, cell phone talkers, and texters. Sending your kids back to school can leave you with an empty wallet, and ouch, that hurts. Right now on NWCN.com, how some parents are helping to cover their costs. Also on our website, a coffee shop in Spokane stirs up controversy with their punch cards. And find out where nearly naked shoppers lined up for some free clothes. That's all on NorthwestCableNews.com. A flood of problems continues in the wake of Hurricane Irene. Coming up, the damage that's caused towns to be cut off. Salam Mansour is an average Bahraini citizen. At age 29, he owns a 6-bedroom house, a car, and he has more disposable income than most Americans. But he spends half of his salary on food. Prices here are 3 and 4 times higher than they are in the United States. Sala enjoys shopping in the Old World marketplace called the souk. He buys cabbage and squash from South America. The apples are from Iran. How much, he asks. Half a dinar. The apple is the most expensive item he buys here. Meat is next on his list. Lamb and beef cost about $1.80 per pound, so this purchase doesn't cut too deeply into his pocketbook. But Sala still needs to go to a modern grocery store to finish his list.
Well, I look for American product, you know, because some of American product was very good.
In the produce section, he finds a better apple.
When I usually go to supermarket, you know, when I look the Washington product, I like to buy some of these, you know. My favorite is yellow apples, you know. Usually I take half of the yellow apples and half of red apples.
And Washington apple exporters can take the profits back to Yakima as they continue to ship goods to the Gulf. So while we were in Beijing, we took a bit of a risk. Posing as tourists, we took our camera inside a government-operated gun club. This is the China North International Shooting Range in Beijing. It's a private gun club operated by the Chinese military, but the public is allowed to practice shoot on the target range. Once inside the security gates, look at the selection of weapons you can fire. There is a formidable arsenal here. We could have fired a rocket launcher. But we opted for a less conspicuous handgun, a Chinese imitation of a 9mm Glock. Just like squeezing off the trigger, President Clinton is trying to squeeze off Chinese gun imports. It's a move that's aimed at curbing national violence, but it might ricochet, having a deadly effect on trade. Our escorts watched carefully over our shoulders, and in this communist country, we had to wonder who was looking over theirs. After firing off a few shots along with our questions, they felt we'd adequately hit the mark on both targets, and we were gestured to leave, leaving with the impression that the Chinese are very proud of their ability to both make and trade firearms. Now, we were instructed not to talk to people on camera to avoid the wrath of the Chinese military, but the people that we spoke with off camera were, for the most part, unaware of the gun ban, and no one told us that they would boycott Washington apples because the U.S. is shooting down Chinese weaponry. 238,000 boxes arrived in Japan earlier this week. They came by boat, but a special reserve 50 boxes came over yesterday by plane. After 23 years of trade barriers, the first air-freighted shipments attract attention as well as security. These Japanese food inspectors are looking carefully for any sign of pests or disease. After thorough scrutiny, the fruit was approved.
There's no problem. Didn't find anything.
Now, fruit is a part of the Japanese diet, but they only eat about half of the apples that Americans eat. This is primarily because of cost. Up until now, a Japanese apple cost about $20 a piece. Dozens of Japanese stood in line for an hour today, waiting to take their first bite of a Washington apple.
This is the first and I'm looking forward to having a taste of home.
Here, the taste is put to the test. The glamorous Ginza shopping plaza in downtown Tokyo came alive with excitement when the Japanese palates approved of the product.
Something they could, if they're in a hurry, they could throw one in their car and eat it on the way to work. They could eat it on the subway. And you can walk down the street eating an apple. What a concept.
Apple exporters hope this introduction will serve as an appetizer, whetting the appetite for more Washington apples that can be shipped toward Tokyo.